is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Summer sucks.
Yeah.
Right? But it does change, like, as growing up as a kid. Right? Just
Yeah,
first
it's
of all,
backwards. You growing up in New York, me growing up in the Midwest.
right? There's
Dreaded September. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cold till April.
And I think it's something that, and then don't get me wrong, technology and all the things we talk about changing kids' childhoods are totally two different worlds, right? But there was a time about those 90 days of being off in summer where you could go out and do stuff with your friends was also a really important part of your development.
Yeah.
Right? It's where you got on your bike and you and your buddies drove 8 miles, and it was part of that independence from your parents. And now, between always being parents being scared you're going to be snatched by a guy in a broad battle van, right? And at the same time, that's 112 degrees out.
Yeah.
You're not going to get too far on your on your bicycle with your crew.
I'm thinking, like you just said, of course, I grew up in a rural area. We started driving vehicles when we were 13.
Right.
So the bikes took like a back seat to Dad's pickup or whatever it was.
But that sense of independence.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this with summer because we would ride our bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And when you said 8 miles, you really weren't exaggerating.
No.
Everywhere you went was 8 miles.
You know, and so we talk about helicopter parents are a problem, right? But the amount of freedom that we had as kids, especially during our summer vacations, was just an amazing part of developing you as a soon-to-be young adult.
You know what, Chris? And none of us got killed or snatched, or there was a few broken bones mixed in there and poor choices. But it was, I want to jump on something you said, and I want to, because it came up today. And it was something you and I were talking about, and you brought it up about sports and why maybe you don't follow baseball specifically and other sports as much because the personalities are gone. Yeah. So David asked me in the podcast earlier today if I planned on watching the Olympics, which start apparently today. The Paris Olympics start today, and I said no. And I got to thinking about it through the course of that conversation with Scott and Jeff and David and. You know why I think I don't watch it like I used to? Because I remember, to date myself, the USA losing to the Russians when they just kept giving the Russians the ball with no time left.
Jeez, that's a long time ago.
Here, the last basket wins and you get the ball until you win. But it was all about, it was personality driven. And we as a United States, the nation, promoted these athletes. I think that's one of the reasons why, because I haven't noticed that recently promoting. There's a few of the gymnasts, which never was my bag to begin with, really. But Mary Lou Retton, I mean, I think she's a grandmother now. So does that make sense to you?
Well,
you mentioned the lack of personalities in baseball, and I'm like, I think that's a big. Mark Spitz, everybody knew this dude was in the Olympics. Phillips, what's his name? Phillips,
the swimmer,
the swimmer,
Phelps.
Yeah, Phelps.
Yeah.
Didn't he at one point live in Scottsdale or
possibly?
Phoenix? Yeah, but we knew who they were and what they were doing. It was breaking news. They were personalities. I don't see that coming out of the Olympics now.
Really. So if you think about the last 3 or 4 Olympics, right, winter and summer, who do you remember?
Exactly.
So Simone Biles, the gymnast, of course, she's pretty amazing at what she does.
That's who I was trying to think of earlier.
Right. So she's pretty amazing, and she's been. I'm not saying she has this amazing personality, but she's noticeable. She's been very exciting to watch, right? I couldn't remember her. So after we got Simone, cool, boom. What do I got next?
Yeah. Where's my crickets, David?
And the other thing too is, of course, is that we had great Olympic athletes that turned out so well later. What was that guy who won the decathlon again? He was on the Wheaties box.
Yeah, it turned out real well, didn't it? Oh, wait a minute, not Jenner, not Bruce. It's Caitlin. Sorry.
I woke up every morning.
Just a heads up.
Oh my God! Evil Scott's in the chair.
Scott's in charge.
Oh my Lord!
So there might be a little delay on some of the sound effects as I familiarize myself with the pads.
I love seeing him sitting there. Way to go, Jeff! Oh, I love that. Move, David. I got work to do. I love it.
That is amazing. So. Just so you guys, I want everyone to know who we're talking about here. So when I saw him, I'm sitting there going, is it this Mr. Spock? with the.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Mustache, goatee.
Is that the mirror, Mr.
Yeah,
Spock?
yeah.
So, but.
That's hilarious.
So I just remember,
Does that make sense, though? I think that's because at one point, and you know what? Also competition. There's a lot of competition for
a lot of these
eyeballs.
people, when you watch them, are just amazing at what they do, right? But after for some reason I've always been more of a Winter Olympics guy than a Summer Olympics guy. But some of the track and field stuff when they get to their final is pretty wild, and they're just amazing athletes. Watching what these guys and girls can do.
Are you planning on watching the Summer Olympics? Much of it?
A little.
Okay.
You know what it is. I got.
There's only 24.
There's some truth to that, and
I think there's a lot of that, but I think.
Well, there's nothing on other than, I know for you baseball kids, but for me as a guy who likes to watch sports, for the next, my soccer doesn't start for another 3 weeks for real, so I'm not gonna.
Hey, Scott's not with us. He left earlier. He's still with us.
He was replaced by his evil brother.
Replaced by Jeff, but he alerted me Saturday.
Thank you. There, look at that. Look at that.
He alerted me Saturday that the game was on, and here's what sucks.
What game?
For me? The Cub game.
Oh.
I am blacked out when they play San Diego, and I'm blacked out when they play the Diamondbacks from the Cubs. And I paid quite a bit of money for this. How far am I from San Diego?
A long while.
7 hours. And I can't get the Diamondbacks on regular TV down here without a subscription.
Yep.
Well, now double sucks for me. Because they play those guys like.
Well, the good thing for you is the Cubs play 500 games a year, so you'll be fine.
Well, and then you know what really sucks? Last night was a tough one, man. Rain delay. They.
Rain delay.
Yeah, imagine that in Chicago. They're frustrated. This may be the most frustrating Cubs team I have ever seen.
Oh my God, we're moving into Cub talk. I love it.
I mean, really, because a lot of years you just didn't expect much from them. This year, I had really pretty high expectations for these guys because they got a really solid.
If you keep talking about the Cubs, I'm going to fall asleep. You got to stop.
But they're frustrating. They're the most underperforming team in the major leagues this year. Okay, I'm out.
Even Evil Scott agreed with me there. What was your favorite thing to do in the summer? And if you're watching this right now and you want to tell us what's your kind of cool favorite memory of doing summer as a young person,
jump in here.
Use the interwebbings out there to make it happen and join us.